You know what, Sam?
What?
It's time to grade the team.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is officially the start of our two-part series of where we grade the team with midterm grades. And we're first in this episode going to discuss goalies and the defensemen. And part two is going to be the forwards because it's a lot to Sam. It's a lot to go over an entire team in one episode. So I think it's better just to break it up into two episodes.
Yep.
So first things first, we have a great deal, don't we, Sam?
Yes. SeatGeek. So if you want to save yourself some money on SeatGeek, get $20 off your first purchase using promo code Caniac Report. Whether you want to go on a away game, a home game, a soccer game, a concert, whatever. If SeatGeek offers it, you can get $20 off your first purchase. So why wouldn't you take advantage of it? Promo code Caniac Report.
Exactly. Great deal. And remember, if you are watching us on YouTube, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and press that notification bell so you never miss another episode. And if you're listening to us from wherever you get your traditional podcast stuff, remember to follow us, leave a rating and a review. It really does help us out a ton. And we thank you for those who have done that already.
Yes.
Whether it's for the ticket giveaways we've done or you just felt like doing it. Again, we really appreciate your feedback and your rating. It just helps us know where we are at in terms of our listeners.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So when it comes to our mid-season grades, and we've done this before, but the criteria on how this is basically a grade like you see in school. So an A is going to be excellence, F is going to be failure, or playing badly, I
Yeah.
should say.
Yep.
So yeah. So Sam, when it comes to goalies, now I have put in this criteria. Sam, if you want to go with it, that's fine. But another thing too is in order to be graded, I would think the goalie should play at least 3 games, and a skater should at least play 5 games. What do you think about that?
I think that's fair.
Okay, because we have 4 goalies to discuss, Sam.
Yeah, it's true.
We have quite a few goalies, so we're going to do that. Get to an ad, and then we're going to finish the episode with defensemen. So, Sam, the first goalie, he got a shutout this season. I believe
All of our
almost,
goalies,
yeah,
have a shutout.
yeah, that just came to mind. But Spencer Martin, Sam, I thought he started out good, and then for a few games, and then started to be like, yeah, this is an AHL goalie.
I think I would, if I'm giving him a grade, I'm probably going to say C plus because he started, like you said, started out good and did not so good. And I think the fact that we have to talk about Dustin Tokarski tells us what the team thought about Spencer Martin. He's a solid goalie in a pinch if you need him. And he did what he was asked to do, which was come in and play. But again, he's an American Hockey League goalie. He's not an NHL goalie. So, prolonged time in the NHL just wasn't something he was capable of doing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm probably gonna. You said it was a C plus that you're giving him.
Yeah, C plus. So average.
Okay.
I'm saying average is fair.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna give him a C, just because there is that expectation of him being an AHL goalie. I mean, we didn't think he was going to be a world beater, so I'm giving him a C.
Yeah.
So that's it for Spencer Martin. And I mean, obviously, I thought his best game was that shutout against Ottawa, if you remember that game.
Yes, that was
a special
excellent.
game.
Excellent game.
Yep. The next game, Sam, or sorry, not the next game, but the next player is Dustin Tokarski.
I really liked Tokarski. I thought he was very good. I think he only played one bad game, his
The
entire
Nashville
time.
game.
Yep, his entire. Well, no, actually Nashville. I thought he played good. I thought everybody in front of him played really bad. It was actually a home game where I thought he played really poorly. I think we lost that game too, but I thought Tokarski was very, very good. He did get a shutout. He was very serviceable when you really needed him, and I think he's a solid 3-4 goaltender. I kind of would like someone else in between Tokarski and Kochetkov, but if you need Tokarski to play, I'm okay with that because I thought he played really well. I would give him a straight B.
Okay. All right. Oh, you're probably talking about the Buffalo game, aren't you? Where we lost?
Yes, I didn't like him in that game.
Yeah, I agree. That game did come to mind. But I would give him again. There is that expectation of you're bringing up a goalie, so you can't expect him to be an Anderson or Kochetkov type of goalie. But he honestly, I thought the way he played, Sam, he really went above my expectations. I agree with you. Only one bad game, and that was the Buffalo game. But other than that, I thought he was pretty good. I thought he struggled a little bit in the Nashville game, just a little bit, but I do think that was the team in front of him
Yep.
mainly.
Yep.
And I'm going to give him a B plus.
Okay.
So two goalies down, 2 to go, Sam. And the next goalie he only played 4 games in October, and then he got injured, Sam, and that is Frederick Anderson.
Well, I mean,
Small sample size.
given what we've seen from him, I mean, an A, he's been very good.
Yes, so I would say the first half of the season, I think an A too. Probably the game where I thought he looked shaky in was his. Well, actually, sorry. Just it was just 4 games through the first half. Never mind. But I mean, I thought Anderson was pretty good in those 4 games. But the thing is, Sam, with him, it's not going to be season expectations. It's going to be playoff
Yeah,
expectations
because
with
Anderson's always been
Anderson.
good in the regular season. I mean, heck, look what he did to the New York Rangers. That's honestly why that game alone gives him an A in my book.
Yes, I completely agree. And with Frederick Anderson, I will give him an A as well. Again, it's going to become playoff time with him to see if he can be that goalie. I still think Kochetkov can. And Sam, that is the next player. And the player that we will end off with is the Pyotr Kochetkov, as fans like to call him, Cooch.
And PK.
And PK, yep.
Um,
This is a tough one. I thought this was the toughest one for me.
I'm gonna because it's almost every game where he lets in a goal where you're just like, God, what's going on? I'm gonna have to go with a solid C. C plus. And yeah, C plus. I will bump this up to a C plus. C plus, B minus kind of area.
So this is the first 41 games.
Yeah, he is the best, one of the best, if not the best backup goalie in the National Hockey League. But when you allow a bad goal a game, it feels like I can't give you anything higher than a B minus, and I think a C plus is pretty fair. So I'm going to kind of hold him at the same that I gave Tokarski, and
I'm giving him a C minus, and the reason why is because I think the expectation was higher for him this season.
It was higher, but I also think he ended up playing a lot more than I think they wanted him to have to play. So at the same time, it's like, oh, maybe you had to do it yourself, and maybe you weren't ready for that yet. I don't know. I think a C plus. I wouldn't argue with anything in the C's. I'm probably not going to argue with you over.
Yeah, the reason I'm going to say a C minus is that even though he probably wasn't expecting to play a lot of games with Anderson being out, he probably wanted to play those games too.
Yeah.
So to me, with that in mind, I would think that with Kochetkov, I mean, he definitely got his fair share of starts, but again, he was still letting in one bad goal a game. So I'm saying a C minus just because I again, the expectation was higher this season with him.
Was, but we also still won a lot of games at the beginning of the season. So it's like, oh, I got to take that into account too.
True. So that's pretty much it when it comes to goalies. And another thing too that I kind of forgot to say at the beginning is, as you've already noticed, we're jumping right into the midseason grades. One, there's a lot, and second, we're not really going to be doing the news segments just because of the Four Nations face-off and the 2 week break.
Mhm.
That
If something
the
major happens, of course, we'll insert it. But
yeah, we probably will insert it. Maybe there's a Miko Rantanen extension or something.
exactly.
So, yeah, Sam, that is pretty much it in terms of goalies. Now we're going to go to our defensemen. But before we do, let's get to one of our sponsors. This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going, but that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out, and games left for you to get in the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. NHL and NHL team marks are the property of the NHL and its teams. NHL 2025, all rights reserved. Okay, Sam. So, defenseman. The player we're going to start first is Jalen Chatfield.
I've liked Chatfield this year. I would say for him, a solid A, just flat A. I think he's been very good. You know, when I say very good, you want your defenseman not necessarily to be noticeable. And what I love about Chatfield is I don't always notice he's on the ice because nothing bad is happening usually when he's on the ice.
Exactly.
And even with Orlov, who I have a lesser view of, Chatfield is usually not the guy who's making that mistake. So I don't always notice, oh, Chatfield, what did you do? So yeah, I think an A is good. And I would at some point wouldn't even mind like to see him play an expanded role with the team because I think he's capable.
Oh, I think he is too. I'm probably going to give him an A2 just because, I mean, we've kind of already, I feel like we've seen all that he can give.
Yep.
And I mean, in terms of all the defensemen, Sam, I've always thought Chatfield has the best skating ability. Like
Yes.
no one is quicker than Jalen Chatfield, and that's what I love about the guy, Sam. And I would argue, and we'll talk about Orlov later in this episode. I would argue that pair, Sam, has been the most consistent pair.
Yes,
this season
I would agree.
for us.
They've been really good, and I still think Orlov has some issues with skating abilities, and that's always going to be my opinion of him. If you want to go into Orlov real quick,
Yeah,
I guess
let's go. Let's go
I
into
would
it.
just talk about the pair as a whole. As a pair as a whole, I would say a solid B plus, because Chatfield is that good. Orlov, I would say a B minus, because I think his skating ability gets him into trouble, and I think this year in general he's been a bit iffy. But
it's
there's
his
also
skating ability that concerns you. It really is.
because in general I think that's been our most consistent pair all season. So,
But he does get beat.
Yep.
We've seen it quite a few times this season.
He gets beat. It's not necessarily that Orlov makes a lot of mistakes, it's that he gets beat a lot because he can't skate as well. But in general, I like Orlov, so I think a B minus is pretty fair for Orlov.
I'm gonna say a B plus just because even though he gets beat, we've seen this season. Even though it's not because of his skating ability, he's able to recover by making good defensive cues on
Yeah.
the ice. So that pair's been excellent. Both Orlov and Chatfield really been the most consistent pair. And now, Sam, the next defenseman is a defenseman who we've seen a handful of times. Uh, Probably going to have a bit of a lower grade on him, but Ty Smith.
F. F. Move on. F. I've got nothing else to say. My mama taught me if you got nothing good to say, you don't say anything at all. F. Move on.
Well, okay. Constructive criticism here, Sam.
Oh,
You think you
constructive
can do
criticism. He was
that?
bad. He was
Yes, I
horrible.
agree. But
He
can
was
you
horrible.
elaborate that?
I saw him in the Florida game because that was like one of my few times actually seeing him. And I'm trying to remember what mistake he made that led to a stupid penalty. What was it? Was it playing the stick with a broken? No, it was like sliding a stick away with his stick, which was a
Yes.
penalty. And it
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
what are
I
you
remember that.
doing?
Yeah.
And it was like the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. And I can't. He makes so many mistakes. He's clearly not capable of playing in the NHL. In the minor leagues, he's been pretty solid, but in the NHL, it's just he's not there.
He seems passive. That's
Yeah.
what I get from his playing ability in the
Yep.
NHL. But he's just one of those players that to me just proves you can be very good in the AHL and then
Yep.
just not be good in the NHL. And
Yes.
he's definitely one of those players. Ty Smith, I didn't like him. He didn't have any bite to his game. I mean, to me, the only memory that I thought was good of Ty Smith was him scoring against Columbus on New Year's Eve. And I'm like, good for him. But if you have Ty Smith on the power play, that's a struggling power play. And obviously, this was before we got Rantanen and Hall and all that type of stuff. But my grade for Ty Smith is an F2. And the reason why I say an F is because not only was there, it wasn't an expectations type of thing. It was just how he played. Like I wasn't expecting him to be a Slavin or a Chatfield or a Ghost type of person, but you gotta be better, way better than that.
Completely agree.
The next defenseman, Sam. Hopefully, this next one will be a little bit better for you. Sean Walker.
Yeah, I mean, for him, I'd say a B because he's been pretty good. He's gotten better. I think he's built his season. That pair, the Ghost Walker pair, I think has been very good.
I'm gonna say a B plus for him.
Yeah, a B plus I think is fair, and I would give Gostisbehere a B plus. I like that pair. I think they've been very good together. And I think we've seen how good they've been together all season. Gostisbehere providing a lot of offense. Walker's skating ability is very good. He's fast. He's also got some really good stick handling. I think he has an offensive flair we really haven't seen fully in effect yet. But in general, I love that pair. So Walker and Gostisbehere for me both are like B plus.
Yeah. But with Walker, honestly, he's been one of my favorite additions on this team because I think, and there's already that comparison, Sam, of comparing Sean Walker to Brett Pesce. And while I think Brett Pesce defensively probably is maybe a bit better than Sean Walker, boy, Sean Walker can skate. And he is leaps and bounds better than Brett Pesce when in terms of his skating ability. It's so good. He is so reliable on D. And there are times where, based on how good Sean Walker can be, he can skate around in circles and just dominate an offensive zone. You've seen that before.
Yep. He's been very good. Very good.
Yes. So B plus for him. My expectations for him in the coming to the season was just for him to be reliable, Sam. But I think he's exceeded my
Yeah.
expectations.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think him, like I said, I gave Gostisbehere a B plus for that reason. I just think that line has meshed really, really well, and that's been where I think Orlov and Chatfield has been the most consistent. I think Gostisbehere and Walker has been my favorite.
Same here. I would actually agree with you there, and we'll just go into Ghost. Sam, I would say very early in the season, Ghost got most of his points, so a little bit similar to Netchus, but because he's not having really been producing a lot of points recently, but he's still a really good defenseman, Sam, and he's still making an impact offensively, even though
Yep.
he's not getting those points. And I would say he's pretty good defensively too.
Yes.
And there's also that comparison, Sam, of Brady Shea that we've talked about multiple times on this show this season.
Yep.
And I think with Ghost, I mean, do I think Shea overall is the better player? Yes, I do. But Ghost, I think, has higher offensive ceiling than Shea. And I think Shea probably beats Ghost just a little bit defensively, but Ghost has made some fabulous defensive plays.
He has. I also think Gostisbehere is a better stick handler.
Yes, I agree with that too. He honestly just makes the power play better.
Yes.
Even though we still have our struggles on the power play.
That's also true. Right now we do.
Yep, we do as we're recording this. But Ghost, I'm giving him an A plus just because of how good
Okay.
of a start he had, and he's exceeded my expectations. I thought he was going to get around probably 20 to 30 points, but it seems like he's going to get more.
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah.
I love that with Ghost. And just imagine next season of having like Morrow and Nikishkin. It's going to be a lot of firepower
Oh,
on that
absolutely.
blue line.
We'll get a lot of offense from the blue line.
Yes, can't wait for that. The next two players, Sam, saving these players for last. Brent Burns. I'm gonna go with Brent Burns first. This pair, Sam, they have I would say the pair itself has kind of, oh, how would I say it? A lot of expectations, but haven't hit those expectations.
I think they've been our most inconsistent pair.
Yes, I do too.
And I'm not putting this on Slavin. I'm putting this on Burns. I think Burns is great this month. It has been a D. I have not liked him very much. Maybe some people argue he's been better defensively. Let me be clear. He has not been better defensively. He's consistently making so many ridiculous mistakes. His offense has completely dried up. He doesn't use the shot. That's his best asset. He's got a shot. He still has a shot. He doesn't use it anymore. And it's like, dude, use your shot. Like it's good. You have one of the best shots on the blue line, if not the best shot on the blue line, and you never use it. So I don't know. I mean, a D for me for Burns, and the only reason I don't give Slavin an A plus this year, giving him an A minus, is because I do recognize Slavin's not had the best season this year compared to his normal stuff. Now, what is that? What of that is attributed to Burns's very obvious regression in his abilities due to age? I don't know, but I can only go by what I see, and I think Slavin's taken a mild step back. But again, how much of that's on Burns's lack of ability versus Slavin having to basically carry the entire line? But even then, like Slavin's worst is clearly like an A minus. So that tells you just how good Slavin is.
Yeah. So I agree with you on Burns' grade. I'm giving him a D2. Now, here's my thing with Burns. I thought he actually, even though his offense has diminished this season, I thought at the start of this season, I thought he was playing good defensive wise. And then came probably I would say probably the month of January, I'll say January, late December, he really started to fall off a cliff defensively.
Yep.
Because he has been making lots of bad bad turnovers.
Yep.
And for someone whose offense is dried up, you're still a defenseman. And your job is to keep the puck away from the goalie. I don't care if you're an offensive or a defensive defenseman. If you're a defenseman, that is your job. And
Yes.
he has not done that. And on top of his offense drying up, it's a D. Now, he's 40 years old. So I do think part of this is with age. And I remember hearing before, Sam, this gave me just a little bit of an aneurysm of them possibly signing Brent Burns because they like him.
No.
You
don't
should
need
not sign a player just because you like them. You should sign a player because of their performance, not because of their likability.
There's no. There's just no.
He has
need
great
for it.
personality. I think
Absolutely.
he's one of the most best personalities on the team, for crying out loud. He's a
There's
funny dude.
There's just no need for him. We have replacement for him, and Morrow.
And Nikishkin, for crying
Yeah,
out
and
loud.
will Nikishkin Morrow replace Orlov and Burns? Your two older defensemen are getting replaced, and I think that's the right decision to make.
Yeah, so that's our passionate take on Brent Burns. Aren't we just passionate about him?
Yeah,
Sam?
but well, I mean, I also gave my opinion on Slavin, and I think Slavin, where he has not been as good this year.
I'm actually giving him a B plus.
See, I gave him an A-, but even then, with Slavin for me, I think I'm still blaming Slavin's not so good season on Burns. And I won't lie, I probably shouldn't do that, but I kind of am. But I think even when Slavin's not been his best, he's still been so freaking good. So it's just, I love what I've seen from him. I mean, you look at that game against Chicago, and Slavin was just freaking awesome. So I mean, I love Slavin. I love him to death. I know he's your favorite player.
Yes, he is.
He has not been the best year. Normally, it's an A+ for Slavin. I think every time since we started this podcast, Slavin's been given an A+, from me at least. So this is my first time I'm giving him an A-. So not an A, but I'm dropping him down. I'm not going to drop him all the way down to a B, but A-.
But like what you said, this is part of just because of how Brent Burns has been playing. I think that's half true. The reason why I think that's half true is just because of the nature of the defensive pairing. If you're having to bail out a player from bad moves, mostly on a game in, game out basis, then yeah, your performance might dip a little bit just because there's only two of you. That's the thing. Only two. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think there is some truth to that, but there also have been games where Slavin has turned the puck over. And I remember there have been a couple games where he didn't block out a player from Kachekov or whoever was in net. So, part of it's on Slavin, part of it is on Burns when it comes to Slavin's performance alone. So I guess why I gave him a B+. So yeah. Well, great talk on that, on defense and goalie, Sam.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And just let you know, we have kind of pre-recorded this because I know I'm going to be a little bit busy with a wedding during this time.
That's true. Yes, that's true.
So yeah, again, if anything major comes up, we will insert it into this episode.
Yep.
And Sam, this defense I would just say I think it's going to get better. I really do.
I do too.
Nikishkin, Scott Morrow. Morrow was named AHL All-Star, and he has been lights out good. 2 hat tricks in the AHL.
Yep.
Who are you more excited about, Nikishkin or Morrow?
It's Nikishkin. Just more hype there. Nikishkin, yeah, there's just more hype. His first game back, he had 2 goals and an assist. I mean, it's like, what?
That's true. But yeah, I'm excited about those 2 defensemen. And honestly, even though Orlov has been playing good, I'm kind of happy we're getting his contract off the books because it's a little high.
Yeah, for
really,
sure.
$7 million. Like I wasn't like Tim. I was surprised when they signed Orlov to that type of money. Were you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was too. But they utilized cap space and term to make it work, so I get it.
I get it too. And to me, the biggest thing, it was only 2 years. It's not like this was like an 8-year deal.
I
So
would have absolutely revolted if they did that an 8-year deal.
would you revolt more if they did that an 8-year deal or if they signed Brent Burns?
It burns.
Burns.
Yeah, Orlov's at least younger.
Orlov is a little bit younger. But yeah, so this is a bit of a short episode, but that's because we're getting right into the grades. And our next episode will be part 2, where we talk about the forwards. So stay tuned for that. And we will see you guys next time.